When you're hot, when you warm, you fly. I'm the cat that's impossible to drop. And the rock parties on a global scale. Ghetto to ghetto, everybody know me well. So
Alright. 1 2 1 2 1 2. You know who it is, it's the Uptown Crew, it's your man DJ Layne Luv. I'm here with just the legendary from Youngstown, Ohio, rap legend, producing legend. This man's got a whole bunch of titles under him, but just as humble as all get out, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Rufus, Blaq, what's going on?
What's happening, man?
I'm telling you,
How you feeling,
man.
brother?
I'm trying to catch you before you get on the plane and, make your major moves. Every time I see you, either in, Long Beach, Hollywood, LA, New York. So, where you headed after this?
Headed to Long Beach, got some things to do in the LBC, and
Okay.
in LA, got some things to handle, some meetings, things to do. And then from there, I'm shooting to New York for July 11th, the VH1 Hip Hop Honors for Salt-N-Pepa. So
Nice.
yeah, man, gotta go represent for my girls, man.
Absolutely. So that's kind of, you was doing things before that, but that's kind of how the world knows you, or that's how you got your breakout.
Oh man, they put me on. They definitely put me on. They believed in me when I was a young guy, when I first got into business, and they entrusted me with writing with them on the album. I co-wrote their first singles, "Are You Ready" and "Giddy Up" off that brand new album.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chad Elliott. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Chad Jiggy, I got the finest on my dime list, and I keep a Breitling on my wrist. Try this, it'll get you more. And it's sick how the tune kicks short to short.
He put me on the map, and then Salt heard my voice, put me on that, and the rest was history.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, shortly after that, you came out with Credentials.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So.
Dropped my own album, yeah.
So how did that deal come about? Was Salt-N-Pepa instrumental in getting you that deal, or that was kind of your own grind?
To be perfectly honest with you, the first deal I signed was with Giant Records.
Okay.
With Cassandra Mills. You remember they had the New Jack City soundtrack?
Yeah.
With Sex You Up and all that. So I signed with them in, I believe that was like 93, 94, something like that. I got to deal with them. And Cassandra resigned, and so we was in limbo. We was up in the air. Around the time I started working on Salt-N-Pepa's album, a brand new album, my voice was getting out there, and Jim and Lewis heard my voice on the Salt-N-Pepa records, on the records I did with Horace Brown, and they wanted to sign me.
Okay.
Liking my style, liking my voice and all that. So that's how they did that. Chad had Ambush. You remember Ambush?
Yeah.
His production company. So they signed his production company, me as the artist, and it was take off from there.
Okay. So because of that deal, you worked with some big names, Missy Elliott.
Oh yeah.
So that's where that you could say it. How's that? How you do that? How you do it?
Man, I thought back in the day, man, that's some funny stuff. That really came up. We came up with that in the hotel room. She's going he ha. Because we had to remember them SkyTel pages.
Yeah.
And they had the different sounds or whatever.
Yeah.
We was doing all that sound effects in the room, just wilding out, and I started saying chicky chicky ya, chicky yeah, some crazy stuff, and we just said we're gonna make the whole world say something stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I made a couple hundred thousand people say chicky chicky ya, and she made a few million say he ha.
Yeah.
It happened.
It did. Out of sight. We can't forsake that, because out of sight is what let the world know that Rufus Blaq can stand on his own. It's one thing to be under a major rap group. Mm-hmm. That pioneered a lot,
right?
And then they brought you in, but out of sight is okay, he can stand on his own at this point. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that was the days of the big budget videos and stuff like that. So it's who was in charge of all those videos and whatnot? Who was the brains behind that?
Oh man, I was creative department. I was shout out to my management, Alan Molina, Junior Registrar. At the time, Junior was over at A&M Perspective. So Chad and Junior came up with the whole vibe. This kid is just more than a rapper. He sings, he animated, he acts, he's funny, he's a wild out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A wild out. Look at him. But Yeah, so they wanted to exude all of that on the camera, wanted me to exude all of that on the camera, so they just start looking at different video directors at the time. I wanted Hype Williams.
Yeah.
You know, Missy got Hype
It
Williams.
seemed like Hype Williams-esque. I mean, they had you in a little go-kart and everything like that.
To my weapon is spitting on me. Every time I bust mine, your soul burn. You begin to yearn to learn. My flow spread the germs. Make you strong. Any MC can get his ass beat. Blowing up the spot just like my last beef.
They had you in the water.
But they got Christopher Erskine.
Okay.
So it was gonna be either Billy Woodworth, Christopher Erskine, and I like Billy too for what he did for Salt and Pepper, but Christopher Erskine was perfect because he was young, he was hungry, and he was like, you know, right there. It was that era was Hype Williams' era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Billy Woodworth was dope, and I forgot the other guy's name. Dang, I forgot his name. He was a dope video director too. So Chris was like real hungry. He wanted to, you know, put his stamp on the game. So when he got me and he heard the song and seen how energetic I was, he came up with the perfect script to put me in a little car and have chicks on stilts chasing me and put me in a water tank.
Yeah, it was real. It was real
cool.
animated.
It was fun. That's when those fun days in the '90s of hip hop. That was really fun.
So now that we mentioned that, like, you know, sometimes when, you know, a performer is at that big of a height and, you know, they fall, you know, out of sight, pun intended.
Right.
You know, like, how do you keep moving? You know, is that like demoralizing when you're not in the limelight anymore? How do you feel when you like kind of your records ain't moving like that?
It's it was deep, man. It was crazy because I mean what made mine even more painful is I had been warned. You know, I remember the day Chad found out that we were signing the deal with Perspective A&M. I was one of them little boys like little Michael Jackson. You know, me and him Virgos around the same. He's 29, I'm 26. Oh, wow. I was just like him. I just know we're gonna do it. I know he liked this. Right. I know he gonna sign this. I was like one of them little niggas. You know what I mean? So I was like, I know Jimmy was gonna sign us. And I remember when Chad called me, I said, I knew it when he said we got the deal. And he said, slow down. He said, Rufus, I want you to focus on doing other thing. Like I got you songwriting and teaching you how to produce. And I put all your eggs in one basket. So he said to me, I'm scared for you. Yeah. He said, yo, because your album may blow up and it may not. And I'm thinking to myself, what the you talking about? Right. We got a deal. How's you talking this dark stuff to me and we got a deal? But he told me, he said, I'm just scared that if all of this fails, like, I don't want you to be wanting to die and being broke down and just losing your mind. He kind of seen it, and I was like, out of here, you know, I was kind of
yeah.
So when it happened, it was crazy. I didn't even realize this addiction to alcohol and drugs had happened. You can't see it. You know, it's like when Jay-Z said, you know, fame is stronger than heroin, when you can look in the mirror and there I am, but still can't see what you become. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when I lost one's record. Yeah. And when I heard Jay say that, that's when he became like one of my favorite all time. Like
you personified that life.
Yeah, because I didn't see it. And then when it happened, and I'll never forget, Spinderella got me a spot, apartment spot under her brother in East New York. And, I remember I still had on that big gold necklace, a Cuban link I had with the diamonds and the microphone, and I had the big bubble goose, and still had all the clothes that the labels got me for free, so I was always still fresh. But I scraped up change to get a 40 and a turkey and cheese hero at a bodega down the block. And people was like, ain't that Rufus Blaq? Ain't you Rufus Blaq? I was like, yeah. And I was just waiting on them to leave the store so I could put all the pennies and shit on the counter. Wow. I was like, damn. And I was just drinking myself into oblivion. Yeah. Just drinking myself into oblivion. Then I got my baby mom and her family showed me love and took me in and everything in Brooklyn. And I just started all over in Brooklyn, and I just kept going. I kept relapsing, falling into drugs, falling in alcohol, falling in this, falling in that. Yeah. I just kept going, and before you know it, Prince Charles Alexander winged me under him, and he said, "You're not a writer." I said, "What you mean I'm not a writer?" He said, "You're a producer too, and I'm gonna teach you how to be one without having to ever touch a drum machine."
Oh, snap.
I was like, dang. And then he just taught me, he said, all that stuff you hearing, that's vocal production. And he just taught me how to fly, had me just listening to Marvin and Stevie and just like, your harmonies is going to change this business. And it's a lot of stuff that's out today that I've influenced.
So like when you started, you know, coming back or coming into your own as far as on the production tip, who was the first person to reach out to you and be like, yo, that's hot, I wanna get on that?
Man, that's crazy. To be perfectly honest with you, the first guy, my homegirl, Empora Sapp. I met this girl named Empora, and she worked over at J Records. And then I met this guy, Trevor Gerald. He's Tinashe's A&R. He's one of the top A&Rs in the world, to be honest with you. Love Trevor, that's my G. He personally came to the studio in the Village, New York. He was listening to my joint. I remember he was saying, what you want to do, what you want to do, do you want to deal?
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, no. For me, I was like, nah, because I was scared.
Yeah.
Because of all I went through, failure, and I knew I didn't have my drinking and everything under control, and I knew what fame would make me become, and plus I had a baby on the way.
Right.
So I was just trying to stick to being behind the scenes and get my life together, get myself together. So he heard a couple records, and he heard this song called Whoop De Woo I did, and before Alicia Keys was the first lady, the original first lady of J Records was Olivia.
Absolutely, I remember.
Yeah. So they picked one of my songs, and Horace Brown picked one of my songs. Chad got me another R&B placement, and then I was producing harmonies on other people, and I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? It was just so crazy that Whoop De Woo record. It seemed like the records I did here in Columbus, Ohio, that I created here, was the records that got me in the door. Because the first person to sing the Whoop De Woo record that Olivia and them heard and they liked it was my sister Tommy Jones.
Right. Okay.
Tommy Jones and Squeaky Penn's wife.
Shout out to Tommy.
Shout out to my sister Tommy. Love you, sis. My sis Nancy. They would come to the crib here in Columbus. I had the ASR-10, a little microphone, and we'd do songs.
That's great.
Right, and then I did even Destiny's Child, Lady Lee, Your Man, and that melody came here in Columbus too. And I went to New York, I was like...